I am here and we are all
Cool.
assembled. And I see we have our recorder already going. So, Guy, you wanna kick us off, man?
Sure. So I guess just to start the update, a couple of the contributors had some meetings yesterday to talk through the progression of compute and builders and smart agents and everything. And I guess just wanted to highlight to the community of all the progress being made across all the fronts and really a lot of work going in, a lot of strategy going into how we kind of push some of these things out the door in a way that is the best for the community. So, nothing of content that I'm really giving it, or not much meaning I'm giving in that content, but just wanted to highlight, how hard everyone's working and many great things to come. On the compute side specifically, there's been, if you guys take a look at the GitHub, you'll see that there are frequent updates. Some of the big updates made in the last week or two have been the reconfiguration of the model's config and the ranking config, and that allows consumers to manually choose how they want their session, how they want providers to be ranked according to their criteria. So if I care more about a provider with a very high amount of stake because they're more reputable, or if I care about someone who's going to have super fast time to first token, I can manipulate that from my side as a consumer to make sure that I'm getting paired with the best possible provider. So something that we've spoken about for a while, something that existed in the proxy router, but now you have the ability to customize for yourself. So um, over time, as you see the GitHub being updated and the proxy router being updated, we would recommend you to kind of do an update and get a fresh pull to make sure that you have all the latest features and you're able to take advantage of that. Second thing is the hot topic of Venice. So we continue to work with Venice on an integration. We've recognized some of the requirements that they have to really have something that meets the needs of us, our users, and their users, and just really making great progress with them. Hopefully, we'll have a bit of a more official update in the next couple of days, and um, just great stuff happening on that front. See more providers onboarding every couple of days, so all great stuff on my side.
Thanks, Kyle. Appreciate you, man. Yeah, really exciting. Glad you're doing all that hard work. So much appreciated. Kevin, you wanna jump in next?
Sure, yeah. It's been a busy week in anticipation of the builder rewards going live. So have just been preparing the accelerator launch to kind of go in lockstep with builder rewards. Continuing to talk to a number of builders interested in various aspects of Morpheus, the accelerator, access to compute, the ability to deploy agents with Morpheus. Uh, there's a hackathon that Anton has been putting on, so that was great to see what he's putting on in Kiev with a group of Morpheus hackers. So I got to review that doc, and I'm excited about the having a Morpheus hackathon, and then the potential of improving and standardizing all of the dev tooling that goes into those hackathons. Um, for Decentralized AI Week, for those who haven't heard about this yet, there are a number of decentralized AI projects: Morpheus, Akash, BitTensor, Deus, Filecoin, several others, trying to find a good week to bring all the projects together and have a decentralized AI week. There's a planning call happening this week for that. And in the context of that week, we do want to have a Morpheus builders event. It's looking like it's going to be sometime in April, but we want to make sure we pick a good week that works with respect to a lot of other stuff going on in the crypto space. Um, and another thing I would mention is we're just kind of continuing to look at developer tooling integration points. So we're continuing to meet and build that relationship with the Coinbase Agent Kit team. And some folks have maybe seen Rockshock, one of the maintainers on the More Agents repo, has put out some awesome reference agents that utilize Base, the ability to for a user to do dollar cost averaging with an agentic flow. So smart agent use cases on Base are getting developed, and we're working towards Morpheus and Base having a lot of collaborative development going on within the contributor communities there. So
Yeah, if I could jump in next on that, I've been actually working on understanding that piece, that smart agent piece, a little bit better, and working with Rakshak about that. There, to be clear, the agents repo is, and this is really helpful talking to him about this to get some clarity for myself. It's more so an example environment, a development environment in a sense for other agent builders to see an example of like, how do you build an agent? What does an agent look like? How does it integrate with the existing model? How does the controller kind of figure out, which agent is up to bat for this particular string of text with these tokens? And so it's not like a final product. And I wanted to make that clear for the Morpheus community. I think it's very easy to think like, okay, what is Morpheus? Oh, it's this thing you download on your computer and can play around with and does tweets for you and can do dollar cost averaging, whatever. And you might be a little disappointed if you install that and think like, wait, why does this look like a development toolkit? Well, because it's a development toolkit. And so I want to encourage people to keep that in mind and be looking to the future for actual polished products. For example, something that you can just use locally to do dollar cost averaging using your own wallet in a secure way that doesn't require you to trust a third party custodian or anything like that. And those are the examples of the types of like actual products that will exist as legitimate smart agents that you can run very simply that are going to be coming out of this ecosystem. But for now, the smart agents repo and that whole application, which changed from being an Electrum application to now it runs through Docker and has a web interface. So that's going to continually change and evolve based on what people feel is the best example for building your own agents is. So I just want to clarify that was news to me, and I've been involved in the project for a while, and that was helpful because as I was looking through it, trying to think about doing some videos to explain it, I'm not going to explain it as like a final product because that's not what it is. It's more of like, hey, here's an example of how as a smart agent developer, you can see some things running and get your own product running. And it's really cool, but it's also exposing some challenges like with the Coinbase system, for example. It's a relatively new agent system, and there are some tweaks that we're helping their team with, even demonstrating like, hey, if we use it this way, here's the limitations we're running into. And so we're trying to be helpful to that community. Obviously, being involved in Base and the Coinbase ecosystem is great for the project. So that's what's another additional benefit of the project as it stands. And so, yeah, I just want to highlight that. It's a pretty cool tool, definitely. And I will be hopefully soon, once I get more of it working locally, working to work through the different bugs and things, I can hopefully update the documentation there. And it's also really good already, but just clarify some of the challenges I ran into that some might run into. And then additionally, clarify what it's for and how it can be used best. In addition, just for my update, I've been talking to a number of people that are very interested in the More 20 project. I actually got a proposal last night from a project that wants to be more involved and kind of do a More 20 and even potentially add more revenue streams to the Morpheus system beyond just staked Lido Ethereum. So that's pretty exciting. I'm going to be talking more with them and some other projects as well that are just very excited about More 20, all coming out of PR Blockchain Week from a week ago. So that I think is the latest update for me. The next kind of video I think I want to do for community's sake is probably demonstrating the More 20 factory. It's pretty cool. It's still beta, but as Kyle demonstrated at the PR Blockchain Week, it's fully functional for the testnet and mainnet. So I know people are excited about developing their own more 20s, and I think the more we kind of show how that works from a video perspective, I think more people will play around with it, and hopefully we'll have fewer and fewer ridiculous ICOs and other silly rug pulls and other drama, and instead we can just do more 20s, and people say, hey, I know how that works. The code is audited, the code is secure, it's functional, it makes sense, and people can start designing solid projects that are open and transparent to everyone, and more the Morpheus community can get involved to help support them. So that's what I've been up to.
Awesome. Thanks, Luke. Great follow on. And thanks for representing the community so well at the Puerto Rico Blockchain Week. It was really cool to see your video interview coming out of that. I know there's some videos going out on YouTube for the recorded panels and fireside chats and stuff like that. So really awesome to see that Morpheus has grown to the point where like people are up at NERPS in Vancouver at the same time as people are in Puerto Rico talking about Morpheus at a blockchain week. At the same time, people are off at hackathons and building other places. So it's cool
for sure.
Cool to see.
It's awesome. And you just remind me, I'll be speaking at WAGME as well in Miami in January. So I'll be speaking about Morpheus there also.
Awesome, man. That's cool to highlight for anybody that's gonna plan to be there. I think that's maybe third week of January if memory serves. So should be a good event. Glad you're representing. And Kevin, thanks for highlighting Decentralized AI Week. I'm really looking forward to that and seeing all of these decentralized AI platforms come together, right? And sort of do the first full conference. Like there's been these summits, there's been DAI days, there's been all these side events around other conferences. But I really do think we're getting to that, critical mass where, the community can sort of hold its own event and bring together all the players. So that's gonna be really cool. But Bo, do you want to jump in?
Sure. Hey, everybody. So busy week for me as well, having a lot of conversations. I talked with a couple exchanges this week, and also posted an update on the integrations repo. If you are an exchange that currently custodies with Fireblocks, it's directions on how to add more token to your offerings. There's at least one exchange and hopefully a couple more that are looking to do that. In addition to that, had a couple great calls with people within the Morpheus community talking about how we're strategizing, getting in touch with businesses that already have demand and clients like Venice for AI inference, and how we can have those conversations with them to, ideally get all of their inference transferred over to Morpheus Network, but realistically, carving out maybe just a portion of the demand that they have for inference, and giving Morpheus a try, basically, to onboard some of these businesses. And so I've started reaching out to some of those companies this week, to various levels of success in getting a hold of them, but I'm going to, continue trying. And I have a very long list of these companies that are out there. Essentially, a lot of these are businesses that are using, or really all of them are businesses that are using some type of GPT wrapper currently, which they could accomplish their same product or service by using an open source model and routing the inference through Morpheus Network, which of course gives them all the benefits of everything that we're building, and also the economic benefits, which from a business perspective, I think is going to be the driver, at least early on, for a lot of them. And so those conversations are taking place. David, one thing I did want to mention is, I know last week you had said we would connect on decentralized RPC services. I just wanted to put that back on the radar, just so you and I can connect on that at some point here.
Sure. Yeah, there's a couple of good ones out there. I've been deep in the Pocket community. Pocket Network has a decentralized RPC that's pretty heavily used, sort of an alternative, essentially, to the consensus service that most people use for their RPC needs. And just for everybody's benefit, RPC is basically like somebody's running a full node, and if you pass along your transactions, they'll broadcast them on the network, or you can see information on the blockchain without having to run your own full node, right? So decentralized RPC is people running a bunch of nodes across the different blockchains and doing that as a service, right? So yeah, happy to connect about that if you need an intro. I definitely know a few people that are super active in the Pocket Network
Okay.
community. But it's a permissionless network. You should be able to pop on there and see if they're open to adding a Morpheus node, because then they could start running and offering that same type of service.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah,
Bo
I
and
will make a
I,
note of that.
Bo and I also can help with introductions there. I used to do our PC integrations in a number of different contexts and different ecosystems. So I know a number of other decentralized projects you may want to evaluate and look into as well.
Okay, cool. Yeah, let's connect on that. That sounds perfect. Thank you. And then just one other thing. It's an interesting. I don't know if challenge is the right word, but some of the really a lot of the groups that I'm now, trying to spark up conversations with who have AI GPT wrapped products. If anyone has any words of advice for navigating the I guess I'll just bluntly say, like, it seems to me that a lot of the AI only focused people are not the most warm welcoming of something that is on crypto rails, which I think is like a pretty, you know, common theme out there. And obviously, we're doing our best to bridge that gap. But if anyone has any sage words or words of advice on navigating that, I'm all ears for, input on that, because there is a little bit of pushback that, hey, this thing sounds great. Oh, it's on crypto rails. Maybe not for us. Even though obviously it should be. That's part of the whole point.
So, what I've found is, the customer is never wrong, right? And so what you have to do is meet them where they're at, right? Versus trying to convince them, because usually it has to do some unknown, right? They don't know how to hold crypto. They don't know how to use a wallet. They don't know, how what their company's policy is on that. And so what I think is likely to happen is the Morpheus community needs to have tools where a developer can hit an API and they can pay in dollars, right? And it does all the magic in the back end, right? Somebody's got the website up, somebody's converting those dollars into more, somebody's holding that more balance and doing the inference, right? Somebody's running the node, right? And that goes back to the whole RPC conversation, right? We're moving up the stack, right? At the beginning, you had to run your own node. Once you have an RPC integration, then you can abstract away the complexity of the node. The same thing goes for payments, right? Because they're not going to want to navigate and figure out the nuances of the token, right? And they shouldn't have to, right? So, what you need to do is create an abstraction layer
Is this
above
how? Oh,
above it.
sorry, David. Is this
Well,
how
I was just gonna
Akash is accomplishing the credit card payments?
100%.
Okay.
100% what they're doing. And that's where everybody ends up, right? Is somebody's got a corporate credit card. They're spending, 10,000 a month on AWS servers or ChatGPT credits or whatever, and they want to point that at a cheaper thing. Great. Show me the $3,000 option. I'll slice my credit card. Oh, I can't use my credit card. I don't know what to do. I don't have time to figure this out, and they run away. Right. So yeah, that's something worth putting up on the integrations priority. Are there groups that do that as a service, right? There are people that create these interfaces and hold the balance and understand the token and do the service and just provide it as an API. Honestly, it's something where you want to think through, whether some people just pointing them at Venice and Venice's API and already has payment rails is an example. And then they're using the Morpheus router in the backend. They understand the More token. They can stake their More for inference, right? So you want sort of instead of trying to pull a lot of them into, hey, run a node, right, or do the other steps, you want to give them the API layer kind of experience, right, the credit card experience. So I think that's where it's inevitably going to head, is we just need these abstraction layers. So today that's Venice. Anybody else could create a similar service, even without a UI, just for developers. But Venice has
Is
done
there a
a
smart
lot of that
agent
work
that
already.
can do this? Can we create an agent that does this?
That's a beautiful idea. Why not? Right. So just talk to this agent, tell it which model you want, how much. Yeah, that would be a really cool way to do the interface, right? And then just have a splash page, and you land on it, you talk to the agent, you put in your information, and boom, you're off and running. That would be a really cool builder project.
You know what? I think my next call is directly related to this.
Amazing.
What do you know? That's why we have these maintainer chats. So, but that's a great question, Bo. I appreciate you being open. Like that's the whole point here, right? Highlight whatever friction you run into, and there's usually one of us that has a resource, or we can talk through how to solve it.
Totally. Well, I very much appreciate it. Thank you.
Cool. Well, considering that next week is Christmas, this may be our last opportunity to talk before the end of 2024. And so I prepared like just a quick review for my update of the Morpheus 2024 wins. So I'm going to run through those real quick. But I just want to take a moment to say I really appreciate the people on this call, the other maintainers, the folks that have put in huge contributions in the last year. You know, you think about how far Morpheus has come. Like a year ago, it was a white paper that some anons wrote and like people were talking about, and then, folks started coding, right? Like, to see now that, Venice has 100,000 daily active users and open source AI is winning, and like our whole, community talking about smart agents has become the thing that everybody's talking about in crypto AI, is just really amazing. So, just want to kind of take a moment, be thankful, especially you think about the events, right? From ETH Denver to NERPS AI, at the end of the year, like Morpheus was at 12 major conferences. The community held summits and days and events and meetups, everywhere from Puerto Rico to Singapore, right? And so I think people in the space definitely know Morpheus now. And it's thanks to the hard efforts of all of you guys and everybody else that showed up to those events, right? And made it real. I also want to highlight the allies, right? You look at more builders, there are 40 plus projects, like a lot of big serious projects, all count themselves as allies in Morpheus ecosystem. And like that's thriving. Like that's amazing to see that many projects want to use capital code, compute, builder tools, and be involved, right? So I hope to see that continue to grow. Talk about the smart contracts. Credit to Anton for the beautiful Explorer that he helped develop that is now live on more.org. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. There have been over $1 billion of staked ETH that have flowed through the capital contract. Like, not a single dollar has been lost. Not a single token has been lost. Like, the audits, the professionalism, like the work on the smart contracts, all the tokenomic improvements to staking, like, we've come, like, Morpheus has come a long way in the last year. Talk about coding rewards, that all underwent major upgrades for staking and claiming, getting people, aligned with the long term, right? The maintainers have worked on that. Huge thank you. The compute router, like Ryan stepping up, Condron, the Lumerin community contributing all that code to Morpheus was a huge inflection point. And then, guys like Kyle and everybody that actually at the end of the process got everybody onboarded and brought compute live, like just the fact that that's live and now out in the world is really amazing. And then, as you mentioned earlier, builder contract, coded, audited, tested, in the process of being deployed, and going through bootstrapping. There's a ton of people that have been waiting for that, are excited for that. And so if you think about it, Morpheus has sort of delivered on all four of the major pieces, from capital, code, compute to builders, in just 1 year, right? And all those milestones one by one have been knocked out. and now we're finally getting to smart agents. Huge shout out to Ruckchuck, and all the other contributors that took the like early prototype of the Morpheus install and made it like a real developer sandbox dev tool that folks can build out agents with and use as an example. Like that's huge, right? It works with the wallet, it has great functionality, and it just keeps getting better with every update. Shout out to Anton and everybody that worked on the websites and the Discord, the whole community after it there. Obviously, huge thanks to Eric Voorhees, Tina, all of their team at Venice, right, for creating basically the first killer app in the Morpheus community, and letting more holders help bootstrap all of that and be their early adopters and testers is just a huge honor. So big thanks to Eric. Access to liquidity, people have worked hard on that, and Morpheus expanded from just Ethereum and Arbitrum now into Base, from Uniswap to Aerodrome. A ton of people, and they know who they are, worked worked hard on adding liquidity and growing the community, and the results are definitely showing. It hasn't all been easy. There've been tons of challenges, code delays, and a lot of the crypto interfaces are still very fragile and kind of navigating all of that. Some of the early contributors have come and gone. Yield farmers, dumping the token, which necessitated, creating staking and updating the system. The extreme ups and downs of the crypto market. But I would say, despite all those challenges, what was envisioned in 23 actually became reality in 24. And it's a community project, right? It's up to the contributors, the maintainers, to push Morpheus forward in 2025. So, I also remind people it's still super early. Like only 10% of the more tokens have been emitted. So improvements to tokenomics, incentives, the way, contributors can be involved, apply to 90% of all tokens in the future, right? So there's still a huge opportunity, right, to pull in great talent and ally, powerful groups to the success of Morpheus, right? So, I would just say I'm really excited that now we've got these weekly calls. We're doing more, coordination of the decentralized group of maintainers. I think we can go even bigger on events in 2025. Win over some new allies and just expand all the bandwidth and people focusing on this full time. So I think this year is just going to be incredible. It's going to be the year of agents, and I think that's going to make the year of Morpheus. But anyway, that's the end of my rant, but I just wanted to say a big thank you to you guys.
Thank you.
Awesome update.
Great
That's
overview.
great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thanks,
man.
David.
Absolutely. Well, if we don't have anything else to cover, I think that's it. We'll get this recording out to the community. Hope you guys all have a Merry Christmas with the family. And yeah, we'll see if people are available. Maybe we can pop in a little bit next week, but
I just have one last shout out. I put a image in the chat, which I just want to put on the recording as well. Like I forget exactly which community member blessed my family with some like snacks and gifts and stickers and stuff. And there was someone that wanted to support the maintainers in the Morpheus project. And I just thought that was super awesome. I mean, just that someone would spend the time to do that. I wanted to highlight it on this call and for the recording to just highlight the quality of people that are involved in this project. To be that thoughtful, it was just neat. My kids are excited. They know I spent some time on this Morpheus thing, and to have them get cookies and treats and stuff, and it just was really neat. And I just want to huge shout out for that. And again, as a reminder to the community of the quality of people. The reason I'm excited about this project is it's attracted amazing people that you really can't hire to be involved in a normal traditional startup type environment. And yet people are showing up and thriving. And so I just really felt blessed by that. Really appreciate it. Thank you guys, and Merry Christmas. And thank you, David, for your leadership. One thing that I've seen also in a lot of projects, especially DAOs and DACs, they can become multi-headed monsters. And as much as we're trying to create an ecosystem of decentralization, there's also a need for strong leadership. And David, I recognize your strong leadership over the course of this project unfolding and how you've shown up in ways that has gotten me excited to participate and others as well. And so your experience and your expertise are greatly valued. And I know, again, we're in a place where no one wants to like claim any positional authority over anyone else. And at the same time, we are a hierarchy-based species that gets serotonin when we figure out where we fit. And I just appreciate you bringing people together, David. Your leadership has been greatly valued.
Thanks, Luke. I appreciate the kind words, man. Happy to contribute. I'm really passionate about this, but you guys are the ones doing the hard work, and appreciate everybody that staked Ethereum, right? That believed in Morpheus early on. From when you could get it for $1 worth of yield to $5 to $10 to seeing it grown to where it's at now. Is just pretty wild. But that's thanks to thousands of people, excited about this idea of having a personal AI where they can own their own intelligence. So good stuff, man. But Merry Christmas, guys.